Every fall, fields across southeastern Virginia turn white. Not from an early snow, though. It's fluffy cotton ready to be picked. We visited Isle of Wight County to learn about this year's cotton harvest.
This cotton here on this farm was probably planted about the 8th of May. We struggle always in this part of the world to get a crop started. And then all of a sudden, once you get it started, you fight sometimes to slow it down. And so we use, variety of nutrient management, plant growth regulators through that whole process to try to get a crop where we can get it to mature out in a timely fashion like we want it.
Virginia is the northernmost cotton-producing state, and weather can be a challenge for both planting and harvest.
We're about 2.5 weeks after defoliation. We're in the early part of harvest, and this cotton here is just opening up pretty decent. It's not quite where we want it to be, but we're getting so late in the season, we've kind of pushing ahead on harvest. So hopefully we're going to get a good percentage of it.
Defoliation requires spraying plant hormones on the cotton to make it lose its leaves, something Philip's son Alec does in an impressively large sprayer. In 2024, cotton was raised on 91,000 acres in Virginia, with most production in Southampton and Isle of Wight counties and the city of Suffolk. Philip then checks the moisture with a cotton grower's hack.
We just came through a really heavy dew last night and a heavy frost, and this cotton has to get dried out a certain amount to be able to harvest it. And most farmers that I know, most people I know, the quickest way they're going to tell you if that cotton's getting dry and ready for harvest in a day's time is taking a bite of the seed. We're not eating the seed, but we're putting it in here and biting down on it. And for me, it's a very audible cracking sound when it's ready.
Then it's time to join Bobby Winslow in the cotton picker. This behemoth machine uses rotating spindles that span 8 rows to pull in the cotton plants and grab the fluffy cotton bolls, which are blown into the back of the machine and compressed into large round modules. Even with advanced machinery, efficiency is a delicate balance.
And so you're trying to get to a point where your cotton is still on the plant, hasn't started to fall out yet, but fluffed out enough that the mechanical pickers can grab that piece of cotton and pull it out. But we've gone through some weather here recently, and as you can see, as I pull that out, I left some behind. It's stuck a little bit right in there, down in that bowl. And a lot of that's from a process of some rainy, drizzly weather. And so this plant did not, what they call hard lock. It did open up, but it is kind of stuck in there kind of tight.
The roughly 6,000-pound round modules of cotton are stacked in neat rows, ready for the cotton gin.
Once a grower has harvested his crop and he's built his modules in the field, he'll call us and let us know where they are. We'll send a truck to go pick those up and bring them back to the gin. We'll put them into the gin and do some coarse cleaning, some drying, prep the cotton for the ginning piece of it. And then once the cotton is ginned and the seed is separated from the lint, then it'll go through some additional cleaning to make sure that all the undesirable, or at least as much of the undesirable material is taken out of it as necessary to, again, provide the best quality on the end product that we can. Once it's finished being cleaned, it's then pressed into a bale, and the bale is then packaged and given an identification number, and then the bale is taken to a warehouse where we'll store the cotton for the producer until which time he's ready to sell it.
Chris Alphin and his cousin Bruce Alphin are the third generation of their family's ginning business. Bruce explains how buying American-grown cotton supports ethical sourcing and sustainability.
The PBI is the number that is assigned to each bale. It's kind of like a social security number. It's tied to everything. So with that information, you can track from field to who ginned it, to what mills it went to, through to the process, to the end product of a shirt or fabric. When we are talking sustainability, both from the farming practices to everything is ethically and legally done through the process, from the mill spinning the fiber to the Ralph Lauren who's buying the fabric to cut and make, all the way up to when your wife or you goes through the store and is picking up the clothing. If it's been made with American cotton, then that company does have true visibility all the way down to the soil.
The Alphin family helped reestablish the Virginia cotton industry.
In the 70s, my grandparents and our parents were in the grain business. And towards the latter part of the 80s, early part of the 90s, growers began looking for an alternative to corn and beans. And The soil type in southeastern Virginia is very conducive to a higher probability of growing a profitable crop of cotton versus some of the other competing crops. The problem was that the closest gins were 50 to 60 miles away, and transportation costs and effort to get the cotton from the farm to the gin almost made growing cotton in this part of the state not very feasible. There was a little bit of a problem here, and so the solution would be to put a gin in the area. And so in 1992, the original gin was built in a warehouse, and then as cotton acres began to grow a little more, the next gin was built in Southampton County in Franklin, Virginia in 1995.
Once it's ginned, Virginia cotton enters the global supply chain.
And the warehouse will prepare that shipment for the buyer, and then the truck will pick it up and take it to a domestic spinning mill, or the truck will pick it up on a container and take it to the port for overseas business.
The current market price of cotton is 62 cents per pound, well below profitability. Edwards says only 1.5 of the 14 million bales of cotton grown in the U.S. is milled domestically.
It's probably 0.6 of a pound of cotton in this shirt. So if you can imagine this shirt here, it's a work shirts, it's probably 39 bucks, 40 bucks. And right now it's got about 36, 37 cents worth of cotton to the farmer in this $40 shirt. So you can see how little we're getting out of the product. Most of it's in manufacturing, shipping.
But despite the challenges, Edwards says it's more than a job.
Farming is more of a lifestyle than a job, But obviously everybody wants to eat and pay the bills, so it's important. The economic side is extremely important, but you got to have somebody that's committed to bad weather and the wrong time of day and early mornings and late evenings.
Whether you're looking for new sheets or a new shirt, check the label for 100% cotton. To learn more, visit thefabricofourlives.com. For Real Virginia, I'm Elijah Griles.